After divorcing John, I went to visit my daughter. Never imagined I'd get beaten nearly to death by my ex-father-in-law Michael. He gave me a cerebral hemorrhage so severe I died in the ambulance before reaching the hospital. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the moment of signing divorce papers with John. Slamming the divorce agreement against his face, I sweetly apologized to the clerk. "We're actually doing great. Just had a little lover's quarrel. We're not divorcing." "Yvonne, are you fucking with me?" John chased me out of the civil affairs office, face crimson with rage. We waited through the entire cooling-off period. "You can't just back out now." I kept walking while speed-dialing my brother. When he answered, I urgently demanded, "Get here in 5 minutes or your sister's a goner." His martial arts studio being nearby, Grant exploded, "On my way." Only then did I stop. John nearly collided into me, hastily straightening his shirt with feigned nonchalance before sneering, "What's your game? We agreed Mandy stays with me and you leave penniless." Having second thoughts? Scanning our surroundings, I suddenly raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Before he recovered, I started shrieking, "Abusive bastard. Cheating scum. You screw around then try to leave me homeless? In your dreams. Everyone look. This trash made me raise his kids and care for his parents for 6 years. Now he's threatening our toddler to steal everything. You're no father. You and that home-wrecking whore want us dead. You and your father Michael are animals in human skin. He beats your mother Laura daily. You beat me and Mandy, whole family's monsters." I contorted my face into hysterical rage. John gaped, accustomed only to my calm demeanor. Truth hardly mattered, like when Michael murdered me last life. After dying, I'd watched the Johnsons coordinate false testimony, claiming I fell downstairs. They'd paid off my parents with blood money, then blackmailed them using Mandy's custody. My brother Grant got arrested confronting John. Remembering this, I wanted to skin these demons alive. As John started recovering, I sprinted to a fruit stand and grabbed a watermelon knife. Amid gasps, I forced the blade into his hand. "Do it. Kill me. Then you can marry that whore properly." I shoved my neck toward the trembling steel. "Come on. Chop my head off." He stumbled backward. Typical coward, 6 years of marriage only gave him courage to bully me behind closed doors. Even when his father Michael cursed me at dinner tables. The crowd's murmurs crescendoed. Grant arrived like an avenging angel, instantly disarming the knife. My performance peaked with trembling lips. "See? He'd rather kill me than let our baby have her mother." Security swarmed in as I collapsed into Grant's arms, whispering, "Get ready to sue for full custody. We're burning this house of horrors down." John's protests drowned in the uproar. Let the social media storm begin. This time, the Johnsons would learn what true hell felt like. He didn't dare say a word. That's exactly why his father Michael became so insufferably arrogant, ultimately driving me to desperation. In this second chance at life, screw being the perfect wife and mother. Screw emotional stability. Today, I'm embracing the madness. Bystanders already had their phones out filming the spectacle. Nosy old ladies pointed at John, muttering about how decent-looking men could harbor such rotten cores. Strangers shouted insults at him on my behalf. John stood speechless. I'd deliberately chosen the busiest intersection downtown. Crowds guaranteed. Just as the commotion peaked, a human freight train plowed through the crowd and dropkicked John into the pavement. My brother Grant loomed protectively before me. "You filthy coward. Pulling a knife on my sister? You got a death wish?" "I didn't. I swear." John's trembling hand still clutched the blade, making Grant see red. The beating that followed left John howling like a mangy dog, his face swollen beyond recognition. We all got hauled to the station. Shockingly, nobody testified about me forcing the knife into John's hand, not even the fruit vendor. Knife in whose hand? Crime on whose head? The vendor shrugged. Case closed with verbal warnings. Outside the police station, Grant slapped John twice for good measure. "Touch my sister again and I'll break every bone your daddy's money ever bought." "Grant, I'd never hurt Yvonne. Why won't you believe me?" John pleaded desperately. Grant snorted. Take your lies to hell. One more stunt from your family, and I'll burn your whole damn legacy to the ground. Understood. John whimpered, though his eyes burned with venom when he glanced at me. I gripped Grant's arm. Enough. Have Mom and Dad pack their things, they're moving into our house today. Bring your stuff too. What? John sputtered. I stared him down. Our down payment was split evenly. I've paid the mortgage solo for 3 years while your parents lived rent-free. Mine deserve their turn. But we only have 3 bedrooms. Where? Mom and I'll share the master with Mandy. Dad and Grant take the guest room. Your parents stay put. Where do I sleep? The couch. My parents sacrificed everything for me, they won't suffer discomfort. I threw his own words back at him. Besides, big families should stick together. Wasn't that your brilliant idea when your parents invaded our home after Mandy's birth? From then on, they shamelessly settled into our lives. 3 years flew by. While their family thrived, I developed one health complication after another. That's why in my past life, I'd immediately filed for divorce upon discovering John's affair. But his family blackmailed me using Mandy, forcing me to leave with nothing. Though reluctant, I agreed for Mandy's sake. Little did I know that divorce wouldn't just hasten my demise but also strip me of my rightful status. Now, divorce is off the table. I'll claim what's rightfully mine, whether John likes it or not. Our whole family has officially moved back into my house. When his parents saw us hauling luggage through their doorway, Michael nearly jumped out of his recliner, stuttering, "In-laws. What's this? Wasn't today supposed to be John and Yvonne's divorce appointment? How come? What decent parents root for their child's divorce?" My mother spat, cutting him off. Eager to welcome that homewrecker? Dream on. This marriage lasts as long as we say so. My father nodded fiercely. Thought you could swindle my daughter? Listen well, Michael, if your boy contacts that woman or mentions divorce again, my son will break both his legs. This is outrageous. Michael trembled, pointing accusingly. I stared coldly. Outrageous? The same man who'd beaten me senseless in my previous life suddenly plays victim? Laura rushed to mediate. Darling, it's all misunderstanding. We want what's best. I tried counseling them. But your daughter insisted on separating. We can't force. Then why strip her of everything? Dad snapped. For Mandy's future. Laura pleaded. School expenses. Upbringing costs. Yvonne agreed to. Divorce isn't happening, I declared, cutting through her lies. John simply made a common mistake. I forgive him. The Johnsons gaped. They knew my zero-tolerance policy, exactly why they'd pushed for divorce. I threw Laura's own manipulative words back at them. After all, I could wait this out, unlike John's pregnant mistress. While the Johnsons sputtered, Grant and I hauled belongings into bedrooms. Mom distracted Mandy with cookies before guiding her upstairs. Only when settled did I face them properly. Before I could get a word in edgewise, Laura launched into a tirade about how Grant had gone too rough on her son. How could you let your brother beat up my baby like this? Michael chimed in, claiming that when couples start throwing hands, there's no point dragging it out. Better cut losses early for everyone's sake. Especially the kids. I smirked silently. They'd used Amanda as leverage against me in my past life. But did they really think that would work on me now? I wouldn't have brought my entire family here unprepared, letting them exhaust their theatrics. I finally drawled. Divorce? Not happening. Not now. Not ever. Feel free to walk out that door anytime if this arrangement chafes your delicate sensibilities. You're kicking us out? Michael's face purpled. His entitled ass unaccustomed to pushback. His palm slammed the coffee table with a bang. Before he could finish his tantrum, Dad surged to his feet and flipped the entire table. 3 stomping strides later, he ripped the wall-mounted TV down and smashed it on the floor. When Grant hesitated, Dad barked. Get cracking. Son. These were your sister's wedding gifts anyway. Since we never got to enjoy them. Grant moved like lightning. The living room became a demolition zone within minutes, shattered vases, splintered furniture. The Carter family's fury raining down mercilessly. The three Johnsons huddled on their intact sofa, barely breathing. Even idiots could have read the room now. When Dad made moves toward the bedroom, Michael's bravado crumbled. Wait. My bad. Okay? I spoke out of turn. Let's talk this through like civilized people. Suddenly remember how to use your grown-up words? I quipped, already brewing Dad's favorite oolong. You're a lifesaver, Dad. This household will need your steady hand. Quit the sweet talk. Dad chuckled, sipping his tea while locking eyes with Michael. Just a heads up, I've got this pesky trigger temper. See someone slamming furniture around me? Might black out and redecorate the whole damn house. You'll tolerate my little quirks, won't you, in-law? Michael's face turned chartreuse, but he stayed mute. I thought we'd reached temporary détente. But the Johnsons couldn't swallow their pride. As we strategized in the master bedroom, police arrived responding to a home invasion and property destruction report. Laughing, I produced marriage certificates and stacks of receipts. John and I are legally married. Since when do in-laws become trespassers? As for the smashed items, I waived purchase invoices. My parents enjoy paying good money to hear things go crash. Harmless hobby. No? The officers faltered. That's when Laura suddenly threw herself on the floor, slapping the ground like a professional mourner. Assault. Conspiracy. They came to destroy us. She wailed about 3 years of sacrifices raising me and Amanda. Her aria of victimhood meant nothing. Police records would show Grant's self-defense case clearly. As for her other claims, the conflicts were all trivial family squabbles. And outsiders could only mediate. But their actions completely enraged my dad. He'd originally planned for a prolonged battle, but now saw no need. For people with zero shame, the best solution was to fight fire with fire. The next morning, John was stunned again. 4 extra burly men now occupied the trashed living room, my dad's cousins and nephews he'd summoned overnight. My 4 brothers tossed their bags into a corner, all smiles as they politely told John, sorry for the intrusion, claiming they needed to crash here while job hunting in this tough economy. John turned ghostly pale. But I cut in first, I approved this. The house is half mine. Chaos officially descended. But we had a system. My mom focused solely on Mandy's daily care, keeping her away from the drama while blocking John's family from approaching her. The rest of us? We embraced the chaos. Within a week, John's family cracked. My brothers and cousins stayed up all night drinking, karaoke blasting, and dance floor stomping in the living room. Even I developed a twitchy eye from the noise. My mom had already taken Mandy to her parents' place, leaving the circus behind. Dinner became my dad's masterstroke. He'd prepare lavish feasts, only to have Grant snatch plates away when John's family reached for food. We're housemates, Michael, not charity. Dad smirked, sipping his wine. If you're hungry, buy your own groceries. Wouldn't want people thinking the Johnsons are moochers. When Michael tried protesting, Dad shut him down. My kids are already grinding at soul-crushing jobs. You want to financially bleed them too? Didn't you preach that elders shouldn't burden the young? Dad enforced strict 50-50 splits on every expense, even making John Venmo me $25 for a $50 electric bill. If John complained, Dad threatened to slap him. You're funding your side piece with marital assets. Either return every cent you spent on her, or keep paying half here. John soon found excuses to stay elsewhere, whether at somebody's place or his mistress's. I couldn't care less. Typical avoidance tactic. Michael and Laura lasted a few more miserable days before fleeing back to their hometown. The moment their taxi left, I called the cops to report my stolen car, the vehicle registered in my name. Unlike the jointly owned house, a stolen vehicle is no minor incident. The police arrived promptly, and suspicion immediately fell on Michael. Before they could help recover my car, news came of Michael and Laura's car accident. It was the rainy season, with skies pouring buckets at any moment. The roads were muddy, visibility terrible, And it happened at night. Michael drove straight into a deep ditch by the roadside. The old couple ended up with one dead and one injured. Laura died instantly without uttering a word, while Michael got off with just broken ribs and a fractured leg. When I rushed to the hospital, John was already kneeling by Michael's bed, bawling about how unfilial he was for marrying me who caused his mother's death. He swore he should have divorced me ages ago. I couldn't take it anymore and kicked the door open with Grant. "Who the hell do you think you are? You don't get to decide when to divorce," I snapped. "John, your father stole my car. And now the insurance won't pay a dime. Even if he's crippled. I'm suing. My parents aren't eating this loss. What the hell do you want from me?" John lunged at me, only to get knocked flat by Grant. Michael lay helplessly in bed, watching his son get pummeled. I leaned in with a sweet smile. People instinctively swerve left in emergencies. But you really went all out. Huh? Laura got pancaked while you walked away with a few scratches. Doesn't add up. Wonder if she'll haunt you at midnight? Get out. Out. Michael shrieked in terror. I laughed my head off. The stolen car investigation circled back to me. Turns out the brakes failed. I shrugged at the cops. The car's under my name. But John's the one who drove it daily. Maintenance? Repairs? All him. He practically lived in that thing. Why'd it sit idle that night? My father-in-law's colorblind and unlicensed. Shouldn't illegal driving be your main concern? Oh. And John's been having money troubles lately. Funny how he took out fat insurance policies on both parents. I dumped everything I knew. Half-truths and all. The cops ignored my rambling. But their probe confirmed John's shady dealings, insurance fraud included. That night, I went nuclear. Compiled every scrap of evidence. Cherry-picked damning videos and photos. And posted a tearful manifesto on my cousin's influencer account with millions of followers. The clips showed me red-eyed but brave. Dripping with unspoken victimhood, the perfect mystery for internet sleuths. Someone dug up my public meltdown from weeks prior. Previously ignored. Now it trended alongside hot-button issues, in-law drama. Stolen cars. Insurance scams. The internet feasted. Overnight, John became infamous. Netizens dug up every skeleton in his closet and uncovered his mistress through online breadcrumbs. People can have flaws. But when someone's entire existence is a walking red flag, they don't deserve to be called human, just trash. Hence his new nickname Trashman trended nationwide. I expected cyberbullying. But John dodged it by getting arrested. Seeing Michael lying alone in his hospital bed almost stirred pity. My brother Grant and I visited repeatedly, each time sending the old man into wheezing fits. "You Carters." Michael pounded his forestand. "What cosmic curse made my family marry such a viper?" Yvonne. 20 years with John. Where's your basic human decency? Gone with your son's fidelity. The frail man actually knelt on his hospital bed, forehead thumping against sheets. "I'm begging, Laura's dead. John's jailed. Stop tormenting me." I watched coldly. After surviving death itself, superstitions about cursed blessings meant nothing. Those kowtows were my rightful tribute. When John resurfaced weeks later, haggard, bloodshot, smelling like a jailhouse ashtray, he cornered me in stairwell during visiting hours. "What more do you want? Haven't you ruined us enough?" His ragged breathing amused me. "You asked for this. Drop the charges against Michael. He's half dead already. Prison healthcare's free. Consider it filial piety." Yvonne. His knees hit concrete. "Take half everything. Keep Mandy. Just divorce me." I leaned into his desperation. "Till death do us part. Remember? We're just getting started." His broken sobs echoed as I left. The affair never mattered. What separated us wasn't some mistress, but 2 graves. While the Johnsons drowned in misery, we Carters thrived. With Mom watching Mandy, Dad and Grant turned my penthouse into permanent party central. The noise complaints became our dinner music. "Why?" Dad once asked mid-beer pong. I smiled, rattling ice in my whiskey. Because living well isn't just the best revenge, it's the only one that matters. I told him about my past life experiences as if they were a dream. My dad fell silent for a long moment before patting my shoulder. Even without this dream, we won't let them off easy. John cheated and manipulated you. And Michael is even worse. But don't worry, sweetheart. Your dad and Grant will protect you and Mandy. Got it, Dad. My throat tightened. I thought John would keep hiding. But I underestimated him. When Michael was discharged, John reappeared demanding his father's return. This house is half ours. Since you won't divorce me, you'll accept my family. Fine by me. The house was already trashed anyway. The shock came when John pulled a classic move of shirking his filial duties. He vanished after dumping Michael here, blocking my number. Typical, determined to avoid his jinx of a wife while waiting out the 2-year separation period for divorce. No matter. Seeing Michael trembling in bed gave me visceral satisfaction. This was the same monster who'd killed me over trivial arguments in our past life. Now the tables had turned. I found 3 hidden cameras in his pajamas. Tossing them out, I dragged a chair to his bedside. Bait for your little spy game? John's risking his only family for this scheme. Oh wait. He's getting a new heir soon. You're just dead weight now. You're insane. Am I? I slapped his cheek. The sound crisp. You thought I wouldn't recognize your acting? Don't worry. I'll keep you alive, for now. John called hours later, whining about being tricked by his mistress. She took everything. I'll cut her off completely. I swear. Cut her off? I laughed. After she cost us so much? Let her have the baby. Your parents want a grandson. Right? Why not monetize your internet fame? Livestream your drama for cash. Oh listen, your dad's calling. I held the phone to Michael's whimpers. John's scream when he heard his father's cries was music to my ears. Dad. What's happening? Answer me. I hung up. If he truly cared, he'd never have abandoned Michael here. Crocodile tears deserve no pity. Michael huddled on the bed, glaring at me with venomous eyes. Scattered before him were countless photographs, intimate snapshots of John and that woman with other men. I smiled sweetly. Worried the baby in her womb isn't your grandson? Or feeling indignant for your son? Don't fret. Whether it gets born at all remains to be seen. What do you want? Kill me then. Go ahead and kill me. His eyes bulged grotesquely. I chuckled. Now. We live in a civilized society. Do you know how many permits I had to file just to keep your rotting carcass receiving treatment? Mad woman. You're completely deranged. He shrieked after staring at me. I smiled faintly. Deranged indeed. The day I crawled back from hell, sanity became optional. I cheerfully updated him about John's unemployment, how he and that woman now scuttled through back alleys like vermin. Gathering the photos, I mused. John's probably broke since he tried scamming me last week. Imagine his reaction seeing these? Desperate men do reckless things. You wouldn't dare. Bitch. Rage ignited in me. Watch me. Though you'll miss the show, the psychiatric hospital transfer papers are signed. Crazy people shouldn't trouble themselves with such matters. Michael turned ashen. The old brute never imagined I'd institutionalize him. Not impulsive cruelty, but calculated justice. Sometimes living is worse than dying. The police call came days later. Identification required. When they repeated the names, I burst into tears, joyous sobs. John was dead. Him and that woman. Their lovers' quarrel escalated until they barricaded themselves in some hovel and lit charcoal. I perfected the devastated widow act until father arrived, apologizing to officers through his own tears. My daughter loved that cheating scoundrel deeply. Why else stay after his affairs? Who'd think he'd choose death over his own child? At home, I shared the glorious news with Michael. Your son's gone. The Johnson family's entire legacy is now in my hands. He just giggled vacantly, eyes darting in terror when I approached. The old monster's mind had finally shattered exactly as planned. Weren't you dead? How are you back? Yvonne. Blame that old hag, it was all her idea. She told me to beat you to death. It's all her fault. I knew he'd also returned the moment his madness resurfaced. Pity he came back later than I did. Even if he were sane now, it wouldn't matter. Did they think I'd repeat the same mistakes this time? 2 weeks later, I held a funeral for John as his late wife. I even kindly had Grant Will Michael there in his chair so every Johnson relative could witness his thriving condition. After the crowd dispersed, I tossed John's ashes into the trash. Scum like him doesn't deserve burial, rotting with garbage suits him better. 2 months passed. After extensive testing, I signed Michael into the city's worst psychiatric facility as his legal guardian. Even if he's faking it, he'll never escape. My brothers practically wore their legs out finding that perfect hellhole. I liquidated the Johnson family's assets swiftly, selling what I could, gifting the rest. No traces left behind. Just like they'd weaponized the child's trauma against me. I returned the favor. Half a year later, I bought a new home under Mandy's name and enrolled her in preschool. I'd braced myself for "Where's Daddy?" questions. But her teacher called instead. Mandy's remarkably confident. She said, "Most 3-year-olds don't declare they don't need a father because they're already loved by grandparents, mom, and uncles." Tears flooded me. Those desperate wails I'd heard before dying, they'd been real. The tiny figure I'd glimpsed through agony was genuine. She'd returned from hell too, knowing everything yet saying nothing. My baby, the one her own father threw from a rooftop after my death, had come back.